Jared, we're going to talk through today what debt recycling is. For somebody that has got absolutely no idea, we're going to unblock some of the myths around debt recycling, why you would use it, if you've got a high income, how it can be really powerful for you to create an investment portfolio, diversify your assets. But with debt recycling, what's the key concept that might be tripping somebody up, holding them back from building wealth?
That sounds really complex. Let's break it down and let's make it simple. So debt recycling, you have mum and dad, they have a $500,000 home loan and they've saved up 50 grand in an offset account. That was the advice that their friends gave them at a barbecue. They're not paying 50 grand worth of interest on their home loan. They're only paying 450 now. Great. Well done. They want to create some wealth. They want to have a look at what options there are out there. So debt recycling is by taking that 50 grand, paying your home loan down by 50 to 450, and then splitting that loan off into a second part and using that 50 that they've then generated to buy something that's going to create them an income.
Jared, why would somebody debt recycle?
So the reason they're going to debt recycle is because that 50 that they've then used there becomes now tax deductible and the interest expense against it. So the 450 and the core debt that they've got for the house with the kids and the dog and the pool is not deductible because they're not getting any sort of income stream from that. But the 50 that they've then snapped off and used to invest into shares or into another purpose that's going to derive them some income, that all of a sudden becomes tax deductible. So with that, that's going to be able to reduce their taxable income by a little bit, which should then hopefully result in a little bit of a refund, which will then help them pay down that other debt a little bit quicker.
Principally though, what you were doing is you're moving from non-deductible debt, or what we call bad debt, stuff that you can't claim a tax deduction for, into good debt, stuff that you can claim a tax deduction for. Things that you can't claim a deduction for, bad debt, on your family home or a car. We want to try and limit these as much as possible, try and pay them out. Good debt for investments. One way that I've worked really well with clients in the past is if they've either got an inheritance, they've saved up a lot, meaning that they've paid down their loan really well, or they've got a bonus from work. For instance, we had a client that had $250,000 in debt. They got a $250,000 bonus. After all tax, they had squared away $250,000, but they wanted to start investing. They were thinking that they were just going to go and invest the bonus, $250,000, into an investment portfolio, where we said no. A debt recycling structure here would work really well for you. Pay off the family home first, $250,000, re-borrow exactly that, but now it's for investment purposes. So you've gotten rid of your bad debt that you can't claim a tax deduction for. You've got great debt now, $250,000, that you can go for any income producing asset. So it could be shares, it could be property, any number of income producing asset that you've got, you can now claim that $250,000. So they were really high income earners. What it did for them is it reduced their tax bill, got them an investable asset, got rid of their home loan debt so they could stop stressing. It's a great client win. Tick 3 boxes in one.
Do you find that a lot of people come to you asking about debt recycling, or it's something that you need to educate a lot of people on because they don't know and haven't heard?
A lot of people have got absolutely no idea around debt recycling or how that could be beneficial to them. So they'll pay off their home loan or they'll have surplus funds there and they want to start investing. But I also want to get rid of the non-deductible debt or get rid of your family home, because there's nothing like owning the title to your family home and get the banker off your back. Don't mind the banker being on your back though for investment purposes, because you get to claim a tax deduction. So for the professionals, high income earners, having really good deductible debt can really maximize your wealth creation. Utilize the banks, utilize the structures, utilize the tax system that we have here in Australia to your advantage. Get a tax deduction for it while there's still negative gearing and all the things out there, and go and use it to build your long-term wealth.
I think that's so important that you, on the surface, you look at it and there's no difference really. You've still got the same amount of debt, but like you importantly pointed out, the purpose of it and the drive behind it, meaning that you can then claim that against your income and result in a lower taxable income overall.
The biggest benefit that you get is if you just wanted to go and invest the $250,000 like these clients did, but still have their debt, is they could have paid off their debt and the same money that they were paying off their home loan, just started investing. Let's call it $3,000 a week. $3,000 a week continues to build up. But if you have a look at compounding, the more that you start with, you get onto the acceleration of your wealth creation. Now, I know that sounds like a little bit of a tongue twister, but let's call it a 10% return. 10% return on $3,000 is $300. It's not much growth, but 10% return on 250,000 is 25 grand. There's a massive difference there for clients who are really smart around a debt recycling. It's a common strategy that we use here as advisors, and I know most advisors do, is to build wealth for portfolios. And in fact, with investment portfolios or share portfolios, a lot of the clients that have got over $1 million in shares, they've started with this exact strategy. Paid off their home, had great savings, maybe not paid off their home, but just paid down a bit of their mortgage, reborrowed on that, and have gone and bought investment portfolios, still had the same amount of debt, but now that's tax deductible for them, and they've got a cracking asset that's going to continue to compound for them long term.
And we do see a lot of people that will have savings in an offset account, or will have savings sitting there for a rainy day, or will have, maybe an asset sitting there that they've not considered, another car, a caravan, a motorbike that doesn't get used. It's about making a couple of sacrifices in the very short term to have 2 or 3 massive long-term benefits here that can help people achieve financial freedom, create a bit of wealth along the way, and maybe retire a little bit earlier.
What an ultimate goal, to retire a little bit earlier. Debt recycling, who knew that if you just play within the rule book that we have here in Australia, that it can be really beneficial for you long term.
Thank you for tuning in to Your Wealth Playbook. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're listening to Spotify or Apple Podcast, hit follow and drop a 5-star rating and share this episode with a friend.
Help us reach more people and enhance the financial knowledge of our families, friends, and communities. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. Just a reminder, the information in this podcast is general in nature and does not take into account your personal objectives, financial situation, or needs. Before making any financial or investment decisions, you should consider whether the information is appropriate for your circumstances and seek professional advice. Past performance is not an indicator of future performance.
If you'd like to discuss any of the points mentioned today in more detail, reach out to us directly and we would love to help and have a chat.